Without further ado, here's Brother Griggs.
Well, I'd like to greet everyone first and the universal greeting of peace, the greeting that is extended by 1.5 billion people around the world. It's actually a supplication, a prayer for peace, and that's Assalamu alaikum. Now, generally people are asleep at the end of my presentations. I put them to sleep during the presentations, not at the beginning. So if, just in case you've forgotten or you don't know what the response is to Assalamu alaikum, it's wa alaikum salam. That means peace be unto you also. So when I say Assalamu alaikum, the response is Alhamdulillah. Thank you so much. Brothers and sisters, I'd like to first thank the organizers for inviting me to come and share and to reflect upon the life of one who is arguably the most remarkable figure of the 20th century. The Black Student Union and the MSA of UNC Chapel Hill is to be applauded not for inviting me, but to take the time to pause, to reflect upon the life of Malcolm X. And I hope that during the course of our discussion this evening that we will have the opportunity to see the relevance of his life to the times in which we live today. You know, this past February the 21st, just a few days ago, it was the 43rd anniversary of the martyrdom of Malcolm X. And my wife and I had the opportunity for the first time to go to Hartsdale, New York, about an hour's drive from New York City, to Ferncliff Cemetery, to pay our regards and respects to El-Hajj Malik Shabazz, Malcolm X, and his wife, Betty Shabazz, where they are buried. And we also I guess that was Sunday now, had the opportunity to go to the Audubon Ballroom, where Malcolm was martyred on February the 21st, 1965. It was also my first time and my wife's first time having the opportunity to have this particular event in our lives. It was a very emotional event. And part of the emotion of the event stemmed from my attachment and my wife's attachment, not just to the name Malcolm X, not just to the image that has been so manufactured throughout the media over the course of the last 43 years, but the kind of attachment that comes when you truly believe that the person that you honor, the person that you know something about their lives, is a person that has something to offer by way of their example, by way of their words, to those of us who are living. And so in taking a moment to just pause and to think about Malcolm X, I want to just share some ideas with you. I don't want to stand here because of the intimate nature of our gathering here today. I want to spend more time in discussion than I would spend in just talking to you or lecturing at you here this evening. You know, Malcolm is a very unique personality. He's one of the few individuals that after over 4 decades, persons of all complexions, persons of all political persuasions, persons of all religions, that Malcolm is the kind of figure that brings people in support of him to honor him, to look at his example, regardless of whether they were Muslim, like Malcolm was, regardless of whether they were socialists, regardless of whether they were Christian, Buddhist, Hindu. I had the opportunity over the past few years to travel to countries that it astounded me to see that these people in countries like Turkey embrace what Malcolm represented to the world, not just to Harlem, not just to the United States, but the people in Turkey. As I was in one of the bookstores and saw his image on the cover of a book, and one of the brothers, the Turkish brothers, told me, well, this is Malcolm's autobiography, and he began to talk about Malcolm in a very passionate way. I've been to a number of different countries around the world. I've been in refugee camps in the West Bank and Gaza. And in talking to the brothers in these refugee camps, when they found out that I was a Muslim from the United States, they began to ask me about Malcolm X. How do you feel about Malcolm? He's been such an inspirational figure to us. What do you think about this man? And I could go on and on about how the world's people, because of how Malcolm truly was a gift to the world and to humanity, whether we're talking about in Asia, we're talking about on the continent of Africa, in Europe, in the United States, all over this earth. There are people who hold high and honor this man that we refer to as Malcolm X. So for the purpose of our discussion here this evening, I want to just ask myself and ask you, who really is Malcolm X? What did he represent? What was it about him that could cause so many people of so many varying ideas and persuasions to look at this individual and claim him as a source of inspiration? Brothers and sisters, let me just do a brief, quick bio. I'm not going to insult anyone's intelligence because everyone at this point has probably read the autobiography of Malcolm X. If you haven't read it, please don't raise your hand. I don't even want to know if you haven't read this remarkable book. Over 3 million copies of this book have been sold right here in the United States. It is a book that in 1999, Time magazine said that this is one of the most influential a piece of nonfiction that has been written in the 20th century. But I want to just look at this transformative life of Malcolm a little bit in the context of the autobiography. You know about the autobiography, but let me share some things about this autobiography that maybe you don't know. Everyone knows when you pick up the book, it says the autobiography as told to Alex Haley. Alex Haley did a magnificent job in helping Malcolm to capture the story of his transformation.